Yes, I'm there. I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, she is very much there. I can see her. Good morning, madam.
Good morning. Good morning, madam.
Hello everyone, a very good morning. At the outset, this is my humble request to you, particularly to manage this webinar properly and avoid unwanted disturbance. I beg you to kindly turn off your audio and video in the Google Meet platform. To switch off your audio or video, please disable the mic icon and video icon on your screen. You can do it by clicking on the respective button. Apart from that, please never touch the present button. Only resource persons will be presenting their slides or videos. Hopefully, we will get this support from your end. Now, we'll start our webinar. Our today's submission is a national level webinar on an August Requiem, a cultural milieu, a tribute to Rabindranath Tagore. This webinar will be inaugurated through the opening song. The opening song will be performed by our college faculty, Dr. Suchandra Ganguly.
বিশ্বজুড়ে আজ অনিশ্চয়তার আবহ, অজানা আশঙ্কায় আজ আমরা সকলে ভীত। রবীন্দ্রনাথের গানে আমাদের উত্তরণ ঘটে ভয় থেকে অভয়ে। ঈশ্বরের কাছে কবির বিনম্র নিবেদনে ধ্বনিত হয় শান্তির বাড়ি বর্ষণের আশ্বাস। বরিশধারা মাঝে শান্তির বাড়ি, বরিশধারা মাঝে শান্তির বাড়ি, শুষ্ক হৃদয় লয়ে আছে দাঁড়াইয়ে, শুষ্ক হৃদয় লয়ে আছে দাঁড়াইয়ে, ঊর্ধ্বমুখে নরনাদে, বরিশধারা মাঝে শান্তির বাড়ি। না থাকে অন্ধকার, না থাকে মোহ পাপ, না থাকে শোক পরিতাপ, না থাকে অন্ধকার, না থাকে মোহ পাপ, না থাকে শোক পরিতাপ। হৃদয় বিমল হোক, প্রাণ সবল হোক, হৃদয় বিমল হোক, প্রাণ সবল হোক, বিঘ্ন দাও অপসারে, বরিশধারা মাঝে শান্তির বাড়ি। কেন এ হিংসা দেশ, কেন এ ছদ্মবেশ, কেন এ মানবাভিমান, বিতর বিতর প্রেম ভাসানো হৃদয়ে, বিতর বিতর প্রেম ভাসানো হৃদয়ে, জয় জয় सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम् तत्सत् हरि ओम् तत्सत् हरि ओम् तत्सत्.
An attractive opening atmosphere is created through a beautiful opening song. Thanks to Dr. Ganguly. Now, may I request Dr. Ahana Chakraborty, Principal of Shimurali Sachinandan College of Education, to deliver the welcome address of today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shambhu. Good morning, all present in this webinar titled An August Requiem, which is a cultural milieu and a fittest tribute to Rabindranath Tagore in this, our universal pandemic crisis. It is our pride privilege to collaborate with Ideal Girls College, a government undertaking at Imphal in Manipur. Let me go back to the month of February this year, where more than 800 principals met at Nagpur for All India Principals Conference. Here, I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Bina Rani Devi, the principal of the college. While working on the webinar, I was reminded of the close association of Tagore for northeastern India, especially Tripura and Manipur, where Tagore visited many a time. Our speakers will uphold Tagore's affection towards a cultural amalgamation. I am indeed grateful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shoma Bandyopadhyay, who is probably a rare personality for holding a dual responsibility in running two universities simultaneously. Firstly, West Bengal University of Teachers Training, Planning and Administration, and Sanskrit College University, Kolkata. I had requested her to send me a short introductory of herself, and that what I have is enough to cover the entire period of our webinar. Hence, with due apology, I will only refer to certain aspects of her glorious work. Being ex-registrar of Calcutta University, ex-director of IISWBM, that is, and Women's Studies and Research Center, she has spent 32 books to her credit, with 121 research articles, 15 translated books, 40 other articles, 71 lectures and addresses, with completing major research projects. Recipient of Sahitya Academy Award, Bhasha Pradi, World Peace Award, Best Educationist Award, and the list goes on and on. She delivered speech in the 9th World Hindi Conference at Johannesburg and undertook exchange program at Kunming in China. Member of 15 board committees at state and national level, she is fluent not only in English, Bengali, and Hindi, but also in Urdu, Assamese, Dogri, and Mizo. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time to deliver the inaugural address. I cordially welcome Mr. M. Harikrishna, an IAS officer and commissioner, Higher and Technical Education, Government of Manipur, who has agreed to deliver the key. He will be further introduced by Principal of Ideal College, Bina. It is an honor to have Dr. Manju Ilangbaum in our webinar, who will mesmerize us with his dancing skill. I will request Dr. Bina to introduce him also to our audience. I will end up by introducing Dr. Orpita Sen from Bengal chapter. She's a versatile and accomplished dancer who completed her PhD in dancing from Rabindranath Bharati University. She has also completed a certificate dance therapy course from Tata Institute of Social Studies, Mumbai, and founded Uttaran Center of Arts, where she gives therapeutic dance lessons to disabled and special children along with general students. Having performed nationally and internationally, she took special training in Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and of course, Rabindra style of dance forms. She is a prominent face in all the dance festivals and has conducted many workshops and published many noteworthy journals in her popular schemes. Today, she will enlighten us on creative philosophy of Tagore in his school of dance. Now, may I request Veena to introduce Manipur chapter to all of us, and thank you very much, all the participants, all the viewers, and everybody involved with this webinar to make this webinar a successful event. Thank you very much. Over to you, Shombo.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your concise welcome address. We have reached that moment when our chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Teachers Training, Education Planning and Administration, Professor Dr. Shoma Bandyopadhyay, Her Excellency will deliver the inaugural address. Respected ma'am, could you please take over the virtual dais?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Halda. Thank you, Dr. Chakraborty. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments of narrow domestic worlds, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of freedom has not lost its way, desert sand of dead habits, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Respected Principal of Shimurali Sachinandan College, Dr. Ahana Chakraborty Madam, Honorable Commissioner, Higher and Technical Education, Government of Manipur, Sri M. Harikrishna, IAS, Dr. Veena Rani Devi, Principal of Ideal Girls College, President of the Governing Body of Shimurali Sachinandan College, Tibrajati Das, Sir, the Coordinator of IQAC, of SS College of Education, Dr. Shambhunath Haldar, other members of the organizing committee, members of my academic fraternity, research scholars, and especially the renowned resource persons who will be participating in today's webinar. A very good morning to all of you. It gives immense pleasure to inaugurate this webinar organized by Shimurali Sachinandan College in collaboration with Ideal Girls College, Manipur. And I would really like to congratulate both the principals, as I have a unique bond with Manipur. I have spent a few years of my childhood in Imphal when my father was working with the Border Routes Organization, and I have many sweet memories. At present also, I am the UGC nominee of the governing body of Oriental PG College, Imphal. Tagore emerged as a major source of inspiration in Indian creative writing in the early 20th century. He had been a recognized presence in the Bengali literary scene since the late 19th century, but few outside Bengal knew him until he won the Nobel Prize in 1930. Tagore grew in stature in the following decades as readers belonging to other language communities gradually became aware of the variety and range of his works. Tagore actually catalyzed the modernist impulse in many of the Indian literature since the 1920s. In other words, Tagore actually transcended all barriers of languages and region. This is the reason why we still continue to revel in his work. The regions that accepted Tagore as their own, Manipur is one, continues to enthrall the Manipuris for years and years to come. Tagore wrote a small article entitled Manipurer Bornona, that is the description of Manipur, in Sadhana, a renowned Bengali monthly in 1891. Again, the greatest exponent of Manipuri dance in Bengal was Tagore himself. the poet's understanding of Manipuri dance began in 1919 when he visited Sylhet, Bangladesh, where he had the chance to see a demonstration of Manipuri dance by Manipuri boys and girls. Then he visited Agartala, that is in Tripura, where also he had the opportunity to see some Manipuri dance performances. He was so impressed that he requested the Maharaja of Tripura to send a Manipuri dance teacher to his Shantiniketan. And since then, Manipuri dance has been taught at Vishwabharati, and now it has been developed to a full-fledged department. This was a great gift of Tagore to the world of Manipuri dance and music. Tagore loved Manipur culture. Tagore described the beauty of Manipur in some of his works like Chitrangada without even physically seeing it, as he was not allowed to visit Manipur by the then British political agent. However, the works of Tagore made their way to the heart and mind of the Manipuris and had a permanent stay in the pens of Manipur writers. Now, for instance, Ashang Bam Meena Ketan Singh, I have gone through a few of their creations, their works. Ashang Bam Maniketan Singh is a pioneer Manipuri poet, as we know him, and he admitted that his first poetry collection, Vashanta Shairen, that is Spring Muse, published in 1930, and if I am not wrong, was inspired by Tagore's Gitanjali. From the third decade of the 20th century, we see Tagore becoming the most vibrant presence in Manipur and his interest in depth and width in the Manipuri milieu. Around 1940, Hijam Irabot Singh, a prominent poet and a political reformist, gave a befitting elegy to the poet in his poem Amar Rabindranath. Harivaibam Nabodvip Chandra Singh wrote several poems under the influence of Tagore. In his poems like Punshe Hidam, that is Solitary Boat of Life, Nanaida Pinare Moktraba Tanjal, that is You Have Shown Me Your Unblemished Kindness, and many other poems, there are lines reminiscent of Tagorean stream. Various such examples can be cited. Perhaps this assertion of Tagore made a deep impression on the minds of elite Manipuri poets. They believed that beauty and truth are intimately connected with goodness. However, I'm sure eminent resource persons who will be speaking today will surely throw light on this. And Manipur, with her rich heritage of culture and traditional sensitiveness to beautify a human feeling, should come forward to fulfill this fond dream of the poets. With these few words, once again, I pay my humble homage to the memory of the great Rabindranath Tagore. And I believe this kind of forum acts as a bridge on the stream of culture and encourages cross-cultural communication and strengthens the bond between the people of two states. So I again congratulate the organizers and thank them for making me a part of this wonderful initiative. I wish this webinar a grand success. Shubham, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your thought-provoking inaugural address with heart-touching remarks. I am enthusiastic to say that we are blessed to have on this occasion. Thank you again, ma'am. May I request respected Madam Dr. Binarani Devi, Principal of Ideal Girls College, Manipur, to deliver introductory address. Madam, over to you.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, your voice is clear.
Good morning, everyone. Namaste and
Good morning.
today, 23rd of August 2020, Ideal Girls College, Imphal, and the SS College of Education, Nadia, West Bengal, organizing MS and Marina and August Requiem, a cultural medicine attributed to Rabindranath Tagore. First of all, Professor Shoma Bandyopadhyay, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the West Bengal University of Teachers Training, Education, Planning and Administration, and Sri Mangshatabam Hare Krishna, guest of honor of today's function, and Madam Ahana Chakrabarti, Principal, SS College of Education, Nadia, West Bengal, and both the resource persons and the IQAC coordinators of both the colleges. Guru Rabindranath left us physically on 7th August 1941 after motivating people of the whole globe with his major cultural contribution impacted on nationalism and keep his motto club of the country alive even now. His goals were to establish the dignity of human relationship across boundaries. Rabindranath Tagore declared, there is only one history, that is the history of man. This concept of one history and the extension, one world, is the heart of his conceptualization of what we call education science boundaries. And as we see it, one of the ways to bring a local unity. Thus, for him, local education and the global education should not be two ends of a spectrum, but overlapping categories instead. The education science boundaries should help in restoring the balance and harmony between man and society, knowledge, and nation. In the highly fractured time in which he lived, Tagore saw education in India was in a double-layered crisis under colonialism and growing nationalism. His was a non-dogmatic defense of harmony and principles of unity of cultural differences, and without sacrificing local or individual ties, and that admits to no artificial boundaries that may be political, ideological, or geographical. As a requiem of Rabindranath Tagore, with this month August, Ideal Girls College Akampat, Manipur, in collaboration with Shimurali Sachinandan College of Education, Nadia, West Bengal, is organizing this webinar on an August Requiem, a cultural milieu, a tribute to Rabindranath Tagore. Tagoreji was inspired and influenced by many cultural practices found in India and abroad. Rabindranath Tagore used various elements from Manipuri and other Indian classical dance forms in his dance dramas like Chitrangada, Sandalika, Shama, Sharp Motion, Natir Puja, etc. These different dance forms, dramas, poems, and songs describe the characteristic atmosphere which surrounds the dignity of human relationship across the boundaries. As a milieu for cultural practices of Rabindranath Tagore, Manipuri dance got a new flavor in 1919 when Rabindranath Tagore showed demonstration at the art forms of this dance and brought back dance teachers to serve in his Vishwavarati University at Shantiniketan. With the initiatives of Rabindranath Tagore, the Manipuri dance form, which is originated in Manipur, gained huge popularity not only in the undivided Bengal, but across the whole Indian subcontinent. He invited Manipuri dance maestros to Shantiniketan to teach Manipuri dance with proper originality and the sacrifices. With the concept of Guruji's education science boundaries, people from different parts come and study Manipuri dance and encourages in restoring the balance and harmony between man and society at Shantiniketan. As a notable example, I want to mention that Chitrangada is a dance drama that is a Nritya written by Rabindranath Tagore based on the story of Chitrangada. The basic story of Chitrangada from the epic and adopted it in his drama, expanding the narrative with his deep sensitivity in the characterization of Princess Chitrangada, where the feminine subjectivity comes out through his characteristic lyrical style. Through her transformation from the masculine warrior princess to the diva, with charming feminine attributes, Tagore carves her as the timeless, complete woman personified love, courage, and substance. So in today's webinar, both the resource persons, Dr. Arpita Sen and Dr. Manju Elangam, will elaborately focus about the contribution of dance and drama in depicting the different cultures of any time, any type, and any place. Dr. Manju Elangam, Assistant Professor of Manipur University of Culture, is a proper example of Rabindranath Tagore's views of education science boundaries, developing and exposing his inborn talent and preserving God-gifted quality of a rich art and culture of his family forefathers. Dr. Manju got his both graduation and the master degree from Viswabharati University, and in both the degrees he got topper in the university, and he got again his PhD degree from the same university. And now, not only as an assistant professor in Manipur University of Culture, Dr. Manju Alangan is working as a visiting teacher in French also. And he has produced a number of dance dramas, a good choreographer in both national and international level. Let us have a taste of Dr. Manju Alambam in today's webinar, how the cultural milieu of milieu developed by Rabindranath Tagore that afforded valuable background information of art and culture that may be in physical, cultural, emotional, or any other quality. So if I want to say that if NEP 2020 is implemented with its provision for promotion of India as a global study destination by providing premium education at affordable cost, the human resources of India, like Dr. Manju, will not be wasted and will give a good attraction to the students of other countries, not only France, where Manju used to work as visiting teachers. Other students from other different countries that may be of America, that may be of UK, may come here and may get their study on art and culture, the valuable art forms of Manipur, they can get their knowledge from here if these facilities are provided. And the NEP 2020 should have to be in favor of such type of education science boundaries. And Sri Tibra Jyoti Das, President, SS College of Education governing body member and president, and as a patron in chief of the organizing committee, bear the whole burden for organizing this webinar. As a main architect, Dr. Ahana Chakrabarti conceptualized the whole structure of this program under the guidance of Sri Tibra Jyoti Das and the team IQAC team of SS College of Education popularly work in this field of IT and other virtual activities, but actually in this organization of this webinar, their team, Hana's team, is very much helpful as well as do all the things to bring it into a concrete shape. Thank you, Hana and your team. Then Professor Shoma Bandyopadhyay, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the West Bengal University of Teachers Education and Training, greeted to this program as a chief guest and inaugurating this virtual research interaction. And Madam, thank you very much for your affection and sharing experiences of Manipur that you have got from here. And thank you from my side and from the side of you. Once again, I want to give thank you. And for future program also, you will have to be encouraged into to this college.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Satyabam Hare Krishna, IS, Commissioner Higher and Technical Education, Government of Manipur, and Vice Chancellor, Dhanamanjuri University, Manipur, and today's guest of honor of this webinar. So, as hailing from an educated family, prompt all the educational institutions to organize this transformation of knowledge in a virtual manner. With his long administrative experiences as an administrator, right after joining in Manipur Civil Service and inducted into Indian Administrative Service, Sir Hare Krishna guided us for creating educational institution into a knowledge hub. So under the guidance of Sir Hare Krishna, I can organize and I can join with Ahana Chakrabarti, and today we are organizing this program. I myself, as a principal and chairperson of my IQAC team, don't have much knowledge about this virtual form of interaction, presentation and all. But with the great enthusiasm of my IQAC team, tried to collaborate and followed all the suggestions given by Dr. Ahana Chakrabarti and her team of IQAC of SS College of Education. Last but not least, with the support and the cooperation of my well-wishers and participants, we are organizing this webinar. Your suggestion and guidance are warmly welcome for our future development and development of virtual learning and interaction in a constructive way. And let us have a new way for developing education that have collaborated all the elements that may be of dance, that may be of drama, that may be of culture, that may be in the field of IT, how these forms of or this system of education are turning into in the form of virtual learning. So once again, from my side, from my whole team and from the organizing side, once again, thank you all.
Thank you very much, ma'am, Dr. Binarani Devi, for your encouraging address of today's webinar. Now, the keynote address will be delivered by the guest of honor, IS officer, Sri M. Hare Krishna, Honorable Commissioner of Higher and Technical Education, Government of Manipur. Sir, if you kindly take over the session.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, your voice is clear, please.
Okay, thank you so much. At the outset, let me just clarify. I am the guest of honor, so a keynote address should not be expected of me. Perhaps somebody who is more aware and enlightened about the organization, and they would be in a better position to give the keynote address. So I'll be sharing my thoughts, but please don't construe it as a keynote address. That's my request. Kurumjari, Pranam, a very good morning to all of you. Respected Vice Chancellor Soma Bandyopadhyay, respected Principal Ahana Chakrabarti, Oja Binarani, and Dr. Shambhunath, and everyone present here. A very good morning to all of you once again. And it gives me immense pleasure to be a part of today's national level webinar titled An August Requiem, a Cultural Milieu, a tribute to Rabindranath Tagore. Especially today, we are talking about a great personality who had contributed immensely in every field during the crucial pre-independence period. Rabindranath Tagore, whom we also fondly remember as Rabindranath Thakur, was one of the greatest poet, philosopher, playwright, painter, and composer recognized not only in India but throughout the world. As Chief Guest, our respected Chief Guest, has rightly pointed out, at the turn of the 20th century, his contribution is immense. He shaped the literary and cultural life of India during those difficult times of independence movement. What we must not forget is that the national anthem that we have today, Jana Gana Mana, is his gift to us. Not only India, but Bangladesh also. He is the one who had actually written the national anthem. As we all know, he is perhaps the first non-European to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature for his collection of poems, Gitanjali. And I'm especially thankful to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Soma Bandyopadhyay, that where the mind is without fear. It's one of my favorite points. We have properly, kept it in our place. We see it every day in the morning to remind us of ourselves that that's the kind of freedom that we should be expecting. We have talked about the establishment of Santiniketan, his linkage or his connection with the Manipuri dance, starting from his visit to Tripura and all. Uh, but what I would like to mention here is that when in education, this so-called dance, painting, music, drama were not taken as a part of education, he was the one who pushed it. He was the one who visualized that yes, education is much more beyond your classroom teaching, and it has to encompass something like dance, music, painting. And today, if we have a look at the National Education Policy 2020, is rightly finding a place there. As Dr. Sharma has already pointed out, Manipuri dance, Rabindranath Tagore was a great admirer of Manipuri dance. And from, I don't know, I mean, I have been told that he used the Manipuri style as the basis for his own dance plays called Ravindra Nitraya Natyas. Okay. And he was a trained dancer. Uh, and coming, when we are talking about his connection with the Manipuri dance, let me just share a couple of thoughts here about the cultural aspect of Manipur. The classical Manipuri dance, which is a combination of traditional hand and body movement patterned with Hindu religious themes, is considered one of the finest form of dance in India. The Ras dance with extremely ornate costumes of Radha, Krishna, and gopis almost give the picture of one of the dance like celestial god being visiting the art, only to perform this special dance was indeed a cultural item, not only enthralled the spectators but also left a deep impact in the mind and psyche of the people who had seen it. This Ras Leela was first conceived in the mind of Rajyashri Bhaigachandra at a certain stage of his meditation. Although the genius of Rajyashri Bhaigachandra was instrumental in the improvisation and choreography of this beautiful Ras dance, it, it was King Chandrakiti and Maharaj Churachan who took important initiative for the growth and development of Manipuri dance. Chaitharol Kumbhava, History of Meitei says enormous increase reflect performance of Ras dance at the royal palace during the 19th and 20th century. Now, there is a little bit of this thing that I wanted to give about Manipuri dance. And let me just sum it up saying that Tagore's work has certainly taught today's generation to root ourselves in our own culture and ethos while remaining aware about the changing scenario elsewhere at the same time. Talking of this, it will not be out of place here to mention that in order to safeguard the rich cultural heritage of the state and to nourish the unique potential as has been envisaged in the cultural policy of the government of India identified Manipur for setting up of the Manipur University of Culture. We do have a Manipur University of Culture. In fact, I believe they should also have been invited to be a part of this webinar. Manipur indeed deserved it, and in our perception, the university aims at promoting serious and systematic ethnic studies bearing on the living condition of the communities living in Manipur and the adjoining regions of the Southeast Asia, and thus serving as a center for fostering cooperation and open-minded exchange of ideas among academic communities of other institutions and universities of repute in India and abroad, which has similar objectives. The organizer of this webinar has done a commendable job by organizing it with such a devotion amidst the great crisis of COVID pandemic. Both Bengal and Manipur, I think we are seeing a spike right now. So we need to be careful, we need to stay safe, and we need to keep changing our lifestyle. It shows that there is an underlying spirit of learning still burning in us despite the worst of crisis. I wish the webinar a grand success. Thank you all. Bhagat Chari, Dhanyavad, Kurumjari, Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioners. The way you have described
Shambhu sir, you are muted.
sorry, this time may I cordially welcome the famous resource person, Dr. Orpita Sen. Her topic of lecture cum demonstration is Tagore School of Dance and his creative philosophy. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I think I am audible and visible to all. I think I am audible and visible to all.
You are very much audible. Okay.
Namaskar. At the very outset, I pay my regards to all the distinguished guests today present here, and Dr. Shoma Bandyopadhyay, Dr. Ahana Chakraborty, Dr. Hari Krishna, IAS, Dr. Bina Rani Devi, and other distinguished guests, and the august audience. Today, my topic is Tagore School of Dance and its creative philosophy. We are really enriched by the speeches given by the august the guests, the distinguished guests. I want to focus on the creative philosophy. Means we have we have heard about the Manipuri dance and the influence of this dance on Rabindranath. First, I just want to tell that how Manipuri dance became really a an influence of Tagore. He invited Guru Buddhimantra Singh, what we have found in the Shantiniketan Patrika, the journal of Ashram. Buddhimantra Singh came in 1919, and then Guru Navakumar Singh arrived Shantiniketan in 1925, and then again in 1934. But except the Manipuri dance, we have seen there are a lot of dances assimilated by Tagore in his dance dramas, like Kathakali, Western dance, even Bharatanatyam, and once Kathak. I personally feel he visited many a times in Manipur, and Manipuri dance at that time was exposed much in front of him. But at the same time, the period where he was working, the period was just a Renaissance period, and many gurus, many teachers wanted to revive the old tradition of the classical dances, and on the other side, wanted to improvise the techniques of the traditional dance. So we can say that Rabindranath, actually, he was the pioneer of the modern dance of India. Valmiki Pratibha was the first music drama of Tagore, written in 1881. But we have seen that in 1880, he composed a song and took part in Manmoi, which was a musical drama written by Jyotirindranath Tagore. He was much exposed with the Sankirtan and also the Jatra Pala, the Bengal Kathakata, and all these things. So he wanted to incorporate all these musical techniques, and after that, the dance techniques from different states of India and abroad in his works. We see that the later phase of his life, where he was creating his compositions, keeping in mind the dance. In fact, his journey to the philosophical insight of dance as the most artistic visual idiom of human body and mind take almost his whole life when we find his experimentation with dance at his most mature years. Thus, Chitrangada, Shama, and Chandalika were transformed into dance dramas where the drama was acted through dance. Sharadotsav. Sharadotsav was played in September 1908 in the Festival of Autumn. It was performed several times up to 1935. Now, according to Shantidev Ghosh, I just want to quote something. According to Shantidev Ghosh, আজ ধানের খেতে রৌদ্র ছায়ায় মেঘের কোলে রোদ এসেছে were followed when feet and body movements to give an image to the lyrics and the rhythmical beats. Amra বেঁধেছি কাশের গুচ্ছ. Now, in this song, the boys moved in a line around the stage with wicker trays full of shiuli and kash. The choreography was made by Tagore himself. In Raja, Tagore not only, Dr. Kalidas Nath states that in Raja, Tagore not only impressed him by the songs and fine acting skills, but also his expressions through suggestive dance gestures while enacting the song. So, in these ways, we have seen that Tagore wanted to experiment the dance throughout his journey. We will see some presentations. I am trying to show some glimpse. I'm sharing. Now you see, is it visible, Dr. Haldar? My presentation is visible. Hello, Dr. Haldar, my presentation is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, you are visible. You are visible.
I am very much new in this technical form, so I beg your pardon if I do some mistakes. So this is, you see, it's the sketch.
Very much visible.
Is the sketch of Tagore. He painted, see, dancing girl sketch.
Ma'am, please click on the image icon in below.
In 1933, he had sketched this one. You see the pencil sketch in Mumbai. You see, this is in Bombay. In 1933, he was, so in his deeper mind, he was always influenced with the rhythm and the visual medium of dance. See this one. Tagore himself has taken part in a dance drama. This is in Vasantotsav. He has taken part. You see this picture, it's a common picture. We have seen that Tagore himself has, now in this picture, Falguni in the dance drama Falguni, he played he played as a baul. Rabindranath Tagore painted this picture of Rabindranath. We will come to the part of Chitrangada. I think it will be better when I go to the clippings and I am speaking with those clippings.
Scholars consider Chitrangada as a dance drama in its purest form. The content, the poems, the lyrics, the song compositions, the rhythms, the dance styles and stage presentation, all these came together in Chitrangada, never losing their identity and interfering with each other. In 1936, the dance drama Chitrangada was produced. It was staged 40 times during the period 1936 and 1940 and had been edited many a times. This dance drama was choreographically planned by Pratima Devi. As she was very much influenced by the method of training at Dartington Hall in England, she wanted to apply it with Tagore's poem.
Now, in this dance, we will see that it is not only Manipuri. The other forms also have been infused. You can see the dance forms. After that, it will be performed in Kathakali and some other folk dances also we will see. Now see, immediately when Arjuna appears on the stage, the chenda of Kathakali, you can hear the sound of chenda and the movements of Kathakali. Now, what I have told that the Kathakali, Manipuri, and other dances we have seen that several times Rabindranath has taken the all styles of dances and incorporated in his dance dramas. We have seen Dr. Pearson also took part in Raja and Achalayatan. We have seen that a Japanese student, Maki, he came as a student and Rabindranath requested him to take part in Shama in Japanese style in a character of Uttiya. Even when Rabindranath visited Saurashtra and Gujarat, he saw that the simple Garba dance and again incorporated this dance when he came back in Shantiniketan. And there he had composed Dui Hate Kaler Mondiraje, and in the Garba style, he incorporated the dance with the symbols like two mandiras in their hands, two symbols in their hands, and they were dancing Dui Hate Kaler Mondiraje. So likewise, we see that infusions, and it's like a chemical compound. You know, the Kathakali, we see the neck, head, all these gestures are frequently moved. But when we see Rabindra Nritya, we never see the particular this neck gesture or the head gesture moving like in Kathakali. So you see how much graceful it has become, and the total form of the Nritya has become Tagore school of dance. It's a different school. It was the new attempt of Tagore himself and a new style of dance.
Ma'am, please resume your presentation.
I couldn't hear.
Resume your presentation, otherwise no one see your presentation.
What I have to do, sir?
There is a share presentation. There, resume presentation.
You can see the presentation, no?
No.
You can't
resume
see the
presentation.
Is the presentation you can't see?
We can see it, ma'am.
হ্যালো অর্পিতা, আমরা প্রেজেন্টেশনটা দেখতে পাচ্ছি না। আপনি একটু প্রেজেন্টেশনটা দেখান প্লিজ। দেখা যাচ্ছে না অর্পিতা ম্যাডাম। হ্যালো, দেখতে পাচ্ছি না।
Now can you see, please?
Madam?
Can you see
না
now?
না দেখতে পাচ্ছি না।
I can see.
এখানে শেয়ার প্রেজেন্টেশন ছিল, ওখানে দেখুন লেখা রয়েছে রিজিউম প্রেজেন্টেশন। ওখানে ক্লিক করুন এবং রিজিউম করুন প্রেজেন্টেশন। কারণ একজন মাঝখানে প্রেজেন্টেশন করে দিয়েছিল, তাই তারটা হয়ে গেছিল বলে আপনারটা স্টপ হয়ে গেছে। আপনি ভিডিওটা স্টপ করে রিজিউম প্রেজেন্টেশন করুন গুগল মিটে এসে আরেকবার।
এটা আমাকে বলছেন?
হ্যাঁ, আপনাকেই বলছেন। হ্যালো অর্পিতা, দেখা যাচ্ছে না ভাই, প্রেজেন্টেশনটা আরেকবার দিন একটু। বা সঞ্জয় প্লিজ হেল্প করে দাও না, প্লিজ হেল্প করে দাও।
হ্যাঁ,
আপনি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন? আপনি ওই গুগল ব্রাউজারে যান, যেখান থেকে আপনি গুগল মিটটা আছে, ওখানে গিয়ে আপনি রিজিউম প্রেজেন্টেশন করুন গুগলে গিয়ে। হ্যাঁ, ওখানে রিজিউম প্রেজেন্টেশন করুন, এবার আসবে। হ্যাঁ,
Scholars consider Chitrangada.
now I think you can.
না, দেখা যাচ্ছে না। দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
এবার ঠিক ছিল, ছিল
কোথায় দেখা যাচ্ছে না?
দেখা যাচ্ছে মানে ম্যাডাম, দেখা যাচ্ছে, আপনি মিউট হন, দেখা যাচ্ছে।
কিসে?
So we can't see. Hello ma'am, we can't see.
Hello, we cannot see. We cannot see. না, দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
অর্পিতা ম্যাডাম,
হ্যাঁ,
we can't see. আপনি আগের বার যেমন ভাবে করলেন তেমন ভাবেই করুন। আমি আপনাকে বলবো যদি দেখা যায়, আমি আপনাকে বলে দিচ্ছি, আপনি জাস্ট ওই গুগলে গিয়ে আবার একবার প্রেজেন্ট নাও করুন, তাহলেই হবে, আর কিছু করতে হবে না।
আমি কি এটা থেকে ক্রস করে বেরিয়ে যাব?
না, আপনি গুগলে থাকুন, ওই ভিডিওটা থেকে বেরিয়ে গিয়ে আবার ভিডিওটা যেমন ভাবে চালিয়েছিলেন সেটা চালান, তাহলেই হবে।
Scholars consider
This one,
Chitrangada
I'm playing.
as a dance drama
আপনাকে শেয়ার করতে হবে, দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
contained
শেয়ার স্ক্রিন করুন, আপনি প্রেজেন্ট নাও এ যান, আপনি গুগলে গিয়ে আবার একবার গুগলে যান, গুগল মিটের ইয়েতে। হ্যাঁ, এবার ঠিক আছে। এবার আপনি যেমন ভাবে করেছিলেন তেমন ভাবে করুন, এবং সমস্ত পার্টিসিপেন্টকে বলা হচ্ছে আপনারা কেউ প্রেজেন্ট শেয়ার অপশনে ক্লিক করবেন না, তাহলে আবার এরকম অসুবিধা হবে। কেন আপনি কন্টিনিউ করুন, দেখা যাচ্ছে।
as a dance
It is seen
drama
now?
in its purest form. The content
হ্যাঁ, এখন দেখা যাচ্ছে, এরকম ভাবে চালু করুন।
দেখা যাচ্ছে এখন?
Now we can see. একদম দেখা যাচ্ছে। Now we can see.
the song compositions, the rhythms, the dance styles and stage presentation, all these came together into Chitrangada, never losing their identity and interference with each other. In 1936, the dance drama Chitrangada was produced. It was staged 40 times during the periods 1936 and 1940 and had been edited many a times. This dance drama was choreographically planned by Pratima Devi. As she was very much influenced by the method of training at Dartington Hall in England, she wanted to apply it with Tagore's poem.
What I want to say, now see, in this dance, the Manipuri movements are being used, but you never find that it's typical Manipuri dance is there. A shadow of Manipuri dance is there. So Tagore wanted to infuse all the styles in his dance. When he went to Gujarat, Ahmedabad, so he took the Garba style of dance and then he composed Dui Hate Kaler Mondiraje like this. Now you see here, Kathakali is being incorporated. Music, but you never see the typical gestures of neck and head movements of Kathakali. You see? Now here I wanted to show you that it is a totally different school. It's a Tagore school of dance which is not similar to the traditional classical style or traditional folk. So it is it's like a chemical composition. Everything is incorporated. Now see here, Bharatanatyam and Manipuri, both the dances are being incorporated. But you never find that any particular style you can see. It is the Rabindranath, the graceful dance.
দেবী নহি নহি আমি সামান্য রমণী, পূজা করে রাখিবে মাথায়, সেও আমি নই।
Chitrangada was originally a poem. Actually, Pratima Devi wanted to give it in a dance drama form.
তার যদি অংশ দাও, যদি অনুমতি করো কঠিন ব্রতের তব সহায় হইতে, যদি সুখী দুঃখে মরে করো সহচরী, আমার পাইবে তবে পরিচয়। আমি চিত্রাঙ্গদা, রাজেন্দ্র নন্দিনী।
See, this line actually will be transformed to a song. Nowadays, we see that the choreographical experimentations is being done on Tagore dance. So you see here a classical Odissi form. See all the Odissi movements. Now we have seen the Guru 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 first, where the Shantiniketan performers were performing. Now see the same song, Odissi dancers are performing. You see both the movements are really very much different.
Particular style of stage decor had been formed in Shantiniketan productions under the guidance of Nandalal Bose. Rabindranath Kaur took the responsibility of the stage setup and lights. In Chitrangada also, this particular style had been used. With all these features, Chitrangada infused new life into Indian dancing. Now, can you see me? Dr. Haldar, I want a help from you. Dr. Haldar,
Yes,
was my
yes,
presentation
yes.
was okay? I mean, you could see my voices while I was demonstrating in between the
Yes,
video?
yes. Your voice is clear. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Now I will come to Chandalika. In this half an hour time, I just want to show some of the glimpses of Tagore's popular dance dramas. So I will go to Chandalika now, then I will narrate. Can you see?
Yes, it is visible.
Now you see the costumes are also little bit different. Tagore had incorporated the costume designing also. And there Nandalal Bose, Rabindranath Tagore, Surendranath Kaur, he had this faculty and everybody had incorporated the new style of, see, the costumes was really very much different at that period. Now here I want to say that the universal message Tagore had given in each of his writings. Here in dance drama also, Tagore had taken many stories from Buddhist stories of Avadana Shataka and other stories. So here we have seen an untouchable girl. She was untouchable, Chandalika, Prakriti, and the Buddhist monk Ananda had come and made her realize that
each and every human being is the same. Chandalika, we have seen many Kathakali movements instead of Manipuri. Very few Manipuri movements were there, but actually, like as the content, according to the content, Tagore took many Kathakali movements. Now we will see again the folk form. See again the folk form and folk music. We will see now the detailing of Kathakali. Here you see the pure Kathakali tradition has been used. See the eye movements and the hand gestures, everything. Particular Kathakali tradition school of dance. Even the Kandyan style of Sri Lanka has been used. Now, what we have seen, that Chitrangada and Chandalika, now we will come to Tashir Desh, a really different type of dance drama. We will see Tashir Desh, then you can see the differences.
Tashir Desh, produced in 1933, is a comic socio-political satire. It is a dramatization of Tagore's short story, Ekti Ashare Golpo. The drama seems to be a humorous one, but Tagore wanted to tell about a rigid and rigid entity of a society which always tries to protect itself from the influence of outer world.
Here, puppetry is used. It's the dancers are like puppeteers because they're playing the characters of cards. In Tashir Desh, the costumes have been experimented, and Nandalal Bose first designed the costumes. The performers are enacting the movements through the dialogues. See the costumes?
The stagecraft, costumes, makeup, and the style of movement rendered exceptional character to Tashir Desh. Nandalal Bose made the special ornaments for the cards made by piece of boards, clothes, and color papers. Pratima Devi used the Javanese style of costumes for girls.
Before coming to Natir Puja, I want to say something about Shama. The last dance drama of Tagore was produced in the year 1939. It was an adaptation from one of his poems, Porishod. The first presentation, named Porishod, was performed on 3rd and 4th September 1938 at Shantiniketan. Now in Shama, we see the heroine Shama was performed in Manipuri style, Arjuna was in Kathakali style, Uttiyo sometimes in Kathak style, and Prahari or Kotal was in Kathakali style. So the dances were always infused in Tagore dance, and in a complete, it has become a dance drama. We will see now Natir Puja.
Natir Puja was a landmark in the history of dance in modern India. It can be said that through this production, Tagore wanted to show that dance was a divine art which deteriorated through time in our country. Natir Puja was an expanded version of his poem Pujarini, originally inspired by the story of the Buddhist collection Avadana Shataka.
Natir Puja came as a film. In 1932, the Natir Puja film released, see,
Few today are aware that Tagore had himself directed a feature film based on his Natir Puja. He acted in this film and composed the music as well. The film was shot in the floor of New Theatre's Studio Number 1. Tagore assembled his acting cast from Shantiniketan.
so we have seen, except Manipuri, Rabindranath had been influenced by a lot of dances, even from the Western style, even the Hungarian style also once he incorporated in his dance dramas or musical dramas. In his education, as Sri Hare Krishna ji told us, yes, that as a part of education, he was the first person in India. He followed the Vedic method of training and also the Buddhist monastic education, where we found that many subjects had been provided to the students, and in the ashram of Shantiniketan, he incorporated education also like that. A full-fledged departments of dance, drama, painting had come, and as an educationist also, Rabindranath initiated this cultural form, I mean, which we are the successor of, and we are getting the fruits of this vision, of his revolutionary vision. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Orpita Sen, for your enjoyable presentation in today's webinar. We are eagerly waiting for the distinguished resource person, Dr. Monju Ilangbang. His topic of lecture cum demonstration is Guru Rabindranath Tagore and Manipuri dance. Dr. Monju Ilangbang, over to you, sir.
A very good afternoon. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, your voice is clear. Please carry on.
Thank you very much. A very good afternoon to our dignitaries, especially our chief guest, Honorable Professor Dr. Soma Bandyopadhyay, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the West Bengal University of Teachers, Training, Education, Planning and Administration, and our guest of honor, Sri M. Hare Krishna IAS, Honorable Commissioner, Higher and Technical Education, Government of Manipur. And I'm very much honored to be as a resource person in this auspicious national level webinar on the topic, and August Requiem, a cultural milieu, a tribute to Rabindranath Tagore. And I'm very much thankful to the organizers, IQAC West Bengal, IQAC Manipur chapters, and especially my heart is thankful to Dr. Ahana Chakraborty and to Dr. T.H. Binarani Devi to give me such a good chance to be with you all. So by taking the permission, I would like to continue my topic of presentation, which is of a lecture as well as demonstration. The topic is Guru Rabindranath Tagore and Manipuri dance. To understand clearly about the Rabindra Nitya as well as Rabindranath's dance style, it is very much necessary as the main component Manipuri dance. So to understand the Manipuri dance, we have to know what Manipuri dance is. So Manipuri dance is a dance which is originated from the soil of Manipur, a northeastern corner of India and border with Myanmar. The dance form is believed to be originated since the creation of the universe by the goddess Nongthang Leima. The enactment of the creation is ritualistically practiced through the medium of dance and music in the ritualistic ceremony Lai Harauba of Manipur. Lai Harauba of Manipur. It is celebrated annually in every part of the Manipuri society since the ancient period of Manipuri civilization. The aesthetic value of Manipuri dance is associated with its natural geographical beauty, which leads to the origination of significant body movements, musical styles, emotions, and costumes that gives its uniqueness to the world of art. So, as we discuss about the Manipuri dance can be categorized into different groups, such as in number one, we have the dances of Lai Harauba. In number two, folk and tribal dances. In third, we have the Tangta, which is popularly known as the martial art of Manipur. And in fourth, we have Cholom. Cholom is a form of art which is accompanied with the Sankirtana of Manipur. And it has two different types, which is of Pung Cholom as well as the Sankirtana Cholom, Kartal Cholom. And lastly, not the least, the famous Ras Lila of Manipur. So basically, Manipuri has two distinct phases of culture that we have seen. That is, at first, the pre-Vaishnavite culture of Manipur. And the second, the Vaishnavite influence culture of Manipur. So this is a two culture which is still exists and practicing in Manipur in a very clear, different, distinct phases of Manipuri culture. So in pre-Vaishnavite, we can clearly see in the Lai Harauba form of dances, the folk and tribal dances, as well as the Tangta, which we popularly known as martial art of Manipur. And in the Vaishnavite influence of the culture of Manipur, we clearly see the Sankirtana form of Manipuri dance and music. Sankirtana, which is of Pung Cholom, the percussion dance forms with the drums and cymbals and all. And the second one is the Ras Lila of Manipur, which is basically based on the love story of Radha and Krishna. So the influence of Vaishnavism leads to the emergence of newly created art form Sankirtana and Ras Lila from the existing element of pre-Vaishnavite art forms of Manipur. How it comes from the existing elements of pre-Vaishnavite art forms of Manipur with the philosophical ideas of Vaishnavism by the great king Rajarsri Bhagyachandra in the year 1779. In the year 1779, the newly formed of dance and culture, the Sankirtana and Ras Lila originated in Manipur with the influence of Vaishnavite philosophy. The Ras Lila of Manipur became popular and came to be known as Manipuri dance, which is recognized as one of the ancient classical dance forms of India. So the uniqueness of Manipuri dance is that its every movement and expressions are very much natural, and the dance form could be described as the floating meditative dance. So I used to describe the Manipuri dance as the floating meditative dance, which is very much related with nature. Why it could be termed as the floating meditative dance? Because the dance which is very much related to the soul of human, to the soul of nature, the understanding of himself or herself through the bodily movement in the devotional sentiment towards Lord is the highest practice of Manipuri dance. So the most important properties of the Manipuri dance is the devotional feeling, the devotion, the bhakti. The bhakti is the main character of Manipuri dance that seems to be so serene, so natural, and so calm. So from that emotions, it brings out the forms of movement as well as expression to be so much graceful. So this is a small introductory ideas about what Manipuri dance is. So now, as the topic is about the Guru Rabindranath Tagore and the Manipuri dance, we used to understand who Rabindranath Tagore is and how the Manipuri dance is enter to the Shantiniketan outside Manipur chapter. So Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore was a great Bengali poet. Everybody used to know that Bengali poet, as well as a great writer, composer, painter, and an excellent artist. That Madam Orpita Sen used to show the demonstration, the presentations just before that. Even Gurudev himself used to present as an artist involved in the as a character in the dance dramas, and then various dance styles. So from that, he was a person who reshaped Bengali literature and music as well as Indian art with contextual modernism in the late 19th and early 20th century. And he is a great humanist, universalist, internationalist, and a great natural lover. So from here, it comes to be connected with the Manipuri dance. So he is an universalist, internationalist. So he is not so much bounded by a small, kind of mindset. So he is very much open and universal in nature. And then he is a great natural lover. So from that, it might be the link that Manipuri dance is come to be the connection with his work and then mindset and everything. Because as the Manipuri dance is so much natural in nature, as he is a lover of nature, these two coincides, and then he used to love the Manipuri dance as my idea of thought. So he was the founder of Vishwabharati University with the concept, the communion of the world with India. So this is something about the Gurudev Rabindranath. I would like to continue the process of the historical process of Manipuri dance, how it enters from Manipur to Tripura, from Tripura to Shantiniketan, and throughout the Indian continents, Indian places, as well as to the abroad. So it is very interesting that I used to take out some of the writings from my colleague who was also a PhD scholar in Shantiniketan Vishwabharati, and then from her chapter, Nationalization of the Meitei Dance and Contribution of Rabindranath Tagore in the Development of a New Dance Aesthetics of the Meitei. Meitei is the community, the major community of the Manipuri society. So that used to practice and preserve the Ras Lila as well as the Lai Harawa. So, since the production of the Ras Leela in 1779 as a court dance in the 18th century, the Ras Leela spread to different parts of India. The establishment of the Manipuri dance and institutional classroom experience in the 1920s in the prescience of Santiniketan was to begin a new chapter in the history of the dance of the Meiteis or the Manipuris. Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore was to free the religious connotation of the dance and secularize the artistic qualities of the same. He created an institutional culture for popularizing Manipuri dance as an artistic practice among non-Manipuris in India. To popularize Manipuri dance to the non-Manipuris in India. It was also to popularize the dance in two very important areas of India, namely Bengal as well as Gujarat and many other various places. He was to begin the culture through the Manipuri citizens of Tripura, an independent princely state in neighbors of Bengal and Assam. As our resource person used to explain before that, as he couldn't enter to the Manipur place due to the restrictions by the British rule, he has the chance to visit and to observe Manipuri dance from Tripura. So that is the sources where Gurudev used to take the Manipuri dance teachers from Tripura. But how as Manipuri Ras Leela came from Tripura instead of Manipur, we have to see in these chapters that how it comes from Manipur to Tripura and from Tripura to Santiniketan. In the oral traditions, researchers claim that the first Ras Leela presentation outside of Manipur was in 1798. That means the Ras Leela was created in 1779, and in the year 1798, the first Ras Leela from Manipur came out from Manipur to the outside world. When Maharaja Bhagyachandra's daughter, Hariseshwari, was married to the king Rasdhor of Tripura in the same year. That means the youngest daughter, the princess Hariseshwar, was married to the king Rasdhor of Tripura in the year 1798. Bhagyachandra abdicated his throne of Manipur in the 1798 and went on a pilgrimage to Ganga in the early part of the year, and he took with him some 700 followers along with his youngest daughter Hariseshwari Devi, who was married to the Tripura king Rasdhor Manikya in 1798. So from here, it started the transmission of the Manipuri culture, which is based on the Vaishnavite form Ras Leela to the other part of the India. Bhagyachandra stayed for 3 months in Tripura, and his daughter was brought with her the statue of the Lord Krishna, Radha Madhav, along with that of his consort. So while they are going for the pilgrimage, his daughter Hariseshwar used to carry a statue of the Lord Krishna, Radha Madhav. Hariseshwari was regarded as the founder of the Radha Madhav Mandir, and daily rituals for the worship of the Lord and Lady and celebrated of proper Hindu festivals were started by her in Tripura. So it must be understood that since Hariseshwari's marriage to Rasdhor Manikya of Tripura, extensive patronage to Hindu rituals and festivals become a norm. The Manipuri colony where the Manipuris had settled had come to be known as Mekhalipara, settlement area of the Mekhali or the Meiteis. The Meiteis or the Manipuri community, the men community Meiteis were used to known as Mekhali by the Tripuris in the ancient period. And the areas where Sri Krishna was worshipped later came to be known as Radhanagar. Still, the places exist, and then the Radha Madhav temples are still there in Tripura. It was also learned that later Tripura king encouraged the Maharanis the queens who were mostly Manipuris. There was exchange, there was a close relationship with neighboring countries because it was the Assam, Tripura, even though Manipur was an independent kingdom before, which was ruled by the kings, they used to have a close relationship by intermarriages between the kingships and then the prince and princesses. So from that, most of the Maharanis or most of the queens of Tripura were princes of Manipuris, who were mostly Manipuris to patronize Hindu rituals and festivals. And it was learned that the Lai Harauba, the Ras Lila, the Julon Yatra, the holy festivals, and others were encouraged, and the ritual practitioners, lead singers, and drummers were paid mostly salaries called bhatas. So this was some of the historical aspect that started entering the Manipuri culture to the Tripura diaspora through the Hariseshwaris and the various queens of Tripura from Manipuri princes. The diasporic lives in Meitei increased by leaps and bounds as a result of Burmese invasion in the 18th and 19th century. There was a great war between Manipur kingdom as well as the Myanmar kingdom most of the time, and then most of the kings as well as the peoples from Manipur used to, due to the invasion from them, they used to leaps out from Manipur towards the Assam as well as Tripura. So devastation of the 1819 to 1826 effect huge displacement of the Meitei population towards Kasar, Assam, Tripura, and also Eastern Bengal, later Bangladesh. Lots of Manipuri communities are also still residing there in Sylhet, as well as many places of Bangladesh too. The Hindu rituals practiced were part of their normal lives, along with a ritual presentation of periodic festivals. Lai Harauba as well as Ras Lila would have been routine cultural event, more especially in the post-devastation period after 1819. So this was the first means establishment of Manipuri dance outside Manipur. And then the next stages comes after the Rajashri Bhagya Chandra. The next stage is the spread of the Meitei dance and through the effort of King Churachan Maharaj in the year 1891 to 1941, who as a colonially educated king under the patronage of the British imperial establishment became an active head of state who contributed to the expansion of the cultural resources of the state, Manipur. He was responsible for exposing the Manipuri art of dance, the clown play, the operas, and the indigenous sports of games to the routine visiting officials of the British government. Because he was a kind of king who made progress in various art forms and sports too. He was the first Meitei monarch who undertook the presentation of the Manipuri Ras Leela in the religious precinct of Vrindavan in 1911. In 1911, already the Manipuri Ras Leela had performed there under the great King Churachan Maharaj. He also sent a 150-member troops to present the Ras Leela in Kolkata. This is a very, very interesting point to be noted, that he also sent 150-member troops of dancers to present the Ras Leela in Kolkata to the visiting Crown Prince Albert in 1922. In the visiting Crown Prince Albert in 1922. The team was led by the teachers of the great Manipuri dancers. You might have heard about Guru Amubi and Guru Amudon. The gurus of that great gurus used to take these troops to the Kolkata in the visit of the prince. The guru's name is Guru Huidrom Julon Machav, the composer of Nritya Ras in 1904. Nritya Ras is a form of Ras Leela in Manipur, which was created by this Guru Julon Macha in 1904 for the welfare of the princes, for the welfare of the British rules. Guru Hawam Atom was his assistant in the Kolkata presentation. Maharaj Churachan also personally took the team to the religious center of Navadip for another presentation of the Jalakeli in the auspicious temple of Anuprabhu at Navadip. There in Navadip, lots of Manipuri inhabitants are there and erected that Anuprabhu temple as a sacred site under the Rajasri Bhagyachandra during that time. So after this kind of influences of Manipur from Manipuri dance from Manipur to Tripura in several eras. So Tripura, in Tripura, there was a time that Guru Rabindranath Tagore had the opportunity to observe the Manipuri dance in Tripura. So it was learned that Tagore visited Tripura 7 times in his lifetime, and the relationship was started early during his grandfather's time. Tagore was learned to have visited Tripura during Radha Kishore Manikya's reign 5 times from 1897 to 1909. Also, he did visited Tripura in his later years during Birendra Kishore Manikya's period in 1909 to 1923. And in 1919, the first Manipuri dance teacher, R.K. Buddhimanta Singh. R.K. Buddhimanta Singh means Rajkumar Buddhimanta Singh, a family line of the kingship of Manipur, the Meitei community that settled there and then used to teach the Manipuri dance out there in Tripura. He was the first person that sent to begin the introduction of Manipuri dance in Sachinandan. So we don't have to be doubt that he is not the original Tripuri. He is the Manipuri himself who settled in Tripura and then practiced the Manipuri dance and then connected from there to go to Sachinandan for starting the Manipuri dance. It was a period of deep conservatism in Bengali society, and Tagore was slowly breaking the traditional constraint by encouraging young Bengali boys and girls to learn dancing. But the girls were not yet forthcoming, so R.K. Buddhimanta's work was the initiation of training of the boys in Manipuri dance as an exercise system. So this kind of exercise system you might have seen in the dole of Sachinandan in the early morning processions. That one, Ore Grihobasi Koldar Kolagloji Dol. During that time, the children's, the boys and girls, they used to dance in a very simple clapping movements like this. This one with the Ore Grihobasi Koldar something like that started used to make the children's in a form of exercises and slowly initiating the Manipuri dance and as well as the dance forms to the Bengali society. Yeah, and then the success of the Buddhimanta's experiences enabled Tagore to request the kings Birendra Kishore Manikya to also send R.K. Buddhimanta's wife to be sent to Sachinandan with her husband, but the event didn't materialize. Okay, what interested Tagore was the excellence of the weaving art and craft of the Manipuri traditional society in Tripura. So not only the dance forms were influences in Tripura from Manipur during that time, but also the excellence of weaving craft, art and craft of Manipur, because Manipur is very famous in the handlooms and then the art and craft too, apart from the dance and music culture. So, but the attempt of the Gurudev was unsuccessful due to the rejection of the wife of Buddhimanta's means acceptance to come to Sachinandan. Okay, so R.K. Buddhimanta, however, didn't stay long, and it was in a later period that P. Navakumar was again sent by royalty of Tripura to help Tagore to expand the cultural activities of his school. Shruti Bandyopadhyay, a professor in present Vishwavarti University, remarked that with him started a new era in the dance of Sachinandan. In Shruti Bandyopadhyay's book, Manipuri Dance, an assessment on history, Hello. 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 Am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Hello.
yes. Please carry on.
Sorry. Yeah, there was some problem in the okay. Very nice. So thank you very much. And then I just continue my paper for some more lines. So the Professor Shruti Bandyopadhyay in his book, Manipuri Dance, an assessment on history and presentation in 2010 has given extensive details of the relationship between Tagore and Manipuri dance. She wrote about Nabakumar being the first Manipuri dance teacher to acquaint the Bengali girls with Manipuri dance. It was Nabakumar to begin a series of choreographic sequences in Manipuri to embellish the production of Tagore's Natir Puja in 1926, where Pratima Devi, daughter-in-law of Tagore, was the co-choreographer. It was the beginning of the Nabakumar's creative career, which was to take him in the future to Gujarat and Bombay as well. Shruti wrote that Gauri Devi's role of the heroine was choreographed by Nabakumar, and the success of the play and Gauri Devi's dance rendered an out of the world divine beauty, which has remained a radiant memory to in the history of performing arts of Santiniketan. At the point, Tagore had conceived that Santiniketan was now ready to contribute to the dance world. Guru Rabindranath Tagore is reported to have advised Gauri Devi to dance with all her initial energies concentrated in her insight. So these are the things that have written by the Shruti Bandyopadhyay in his book, in her book. And then again, Nabakumar, with his stint of Gujarat and Bombay, through the encouragement of Tagore's, extended his mind to develop of Manipuri as an intrinsic elements in the dance aesthetics of Tagore, which is eclectic and global universalism. Tagore spared nothing in the accumulation of folk and classical rhythms from the like of Kathakali, Kendia, Garva, Bharatanatyam, Kathak, Javanese, Hungarian, Burmese, and others. Tagore has meant his University of Vishwabharati to be a repertoire of all cultures. In his dramatic productions and visualizations of his poem, his disciplines included Pratima Devi and Santidev Ghosh, and others had taken all the troubles to learn many of the dance art of India and the world, and the presence of the item of Manipuri in solo and group sequences reflect a symbiotic relationship of its rhythm and movement with the poetry and flow of Tagore's imagination. Many of the thematic productions of Santiniketan since Natir Puja, Sap Machon, Tasir Des, Chandalika, Chitrangada, Shyama, etc. includes various solo and group items of Manipuri. Most of the celebration of nature's fertile manifestation by Tagore also include Manipuri dance items. So here we can see that in various dance dramas, lots of Manipuri elements are there. Yes, we have heard that. We also agree and heard from our speaker that Madam Arpita used to try to mention Rabindranath dance drama is a kind of infusion of different art forms, different dance forms. It is very true, but according to the philosophical idea and then the lyrical forms of the Rabindranath Tagore, which is very much suited with the Manipuri art form. This is a thing that Rabindranath Tagore used to love, this art form. Because there is no boundaries that it should be only created by Manipuri dance. It can be created by various forms of dances, whatever present in the world. Even the creative dance form can be used it, but the theme is very much suited with the Manipuri dance. This is the one thing. And then he has no boundaries to choreograph with different elements of dance to the demand of his dance drama. To the demand of his team, he used to incorporate it with different form of dances like Kathakali when it is very much vigorous as well as very much strong character comes. Kathakali used to put it, and when something romanticized, lyricals, and all these things come, devotional forms of elements comes, then Manipuri is very much suited with the Rabindranath Tagore's dance style. This is the thing that I have observed and I have learned from Santiniketan. Yeah. And one of the most interesting dance drama, which is known as Bhanu Singher Padavali, was a collection of poems Tagore wrote in his early teens, and these poems were published in different journals in an album named Bhanu Singha. These poems were inspired by the great poet Vidyapati Chandidas and Jayadev. The poem became very popular later on, and Tagore had this produced as dance drama Nritya Natya. Not much of details in remember by the connoisseur. However, it was believed that for the visualization of the poem, Tagore used the classical dance movement from Manipuri. But Jatindra, our guru, a great guru, late Professor Jatindra Singh, he was a great choreographer, great composer, and then a great guru, teacher, who was a principal of Santiniketan Vishwavarti. He is a kind of authorized person for the Rabindranath as well as the dance drama form. I have the opportunity to meet with him, to learn from him, and then to learn the idea from him. It's a great opportunity for him. I did my homage for him still too. But Jatindra's reinterpretation of the great poet collections was inspired by Tagore's vision, and he used various resources from the classical Manipuri dance, the Lord Krishna, solo items like the Krishna Avishar in the Ras Lila, because it is exactly like the Manipuri Ras Lila, what is the traditions going on in Santiniketan Vishwavarti's Bhanu Singher Padavali. The same as Eko Gopi, Eko Shyam, which has come out in the Manipuri Maharas Lila. One Krishna, one Gopi, one Krishna, one Gopi used to come out in the Bhanu Singher Padavali, we can observe. Sorry. The Lord Krishna solo item like the Krishna Abhishar was from Basanta Ras, and the Krishna Nartan from Nritya Ras. The Nattabaraves, means the costume of Krishna, which we used to call as Nattabaraves, was used as a costume of Lord Krishna in the dance drama. Many of the feminine dance items and gestures like Longlei Uplei, Champra Okpi. Longlei Uplei means a form of Manipuri dance. There is a joining from one dance form to the another dance form. We have a Longlei Uplei as a kind of joining. And then Champra Okpi, this simple movements is called as the Champra Okpi. So many of the feminine dance styles and gestures like Longlei Uplei, Champra Okpi, Chali, etc. were used, and it was gracefully accepted by the audience. So, lastly, the fascination for the Manipuri dance style, especially for the female characters in Tagore's dance style, Nritya Natya, was, as Ajit Kumar Ghosh wrote, that the Manipuri dance was liked so much by the poet because of its mellowed beauty, tenderness, grace, and lyricism. It's written by Ajit Kumar Ghosh. It seems from various artistic disciplines, Tagore has had experiences in life like songs, dramas, sculpture, painting, etc. He, at later life period, found a fulfilling one in dance, and Manipuri had given some intense depth of experience to him to transform of the woman in Bengali society. These are things that I would like to mention in this today's webinar. And due to the Gurudev's contribution, and then due to the Gurudev's love of Manipuri dance, Manipuri, as it is a far corner of the northeastern part of India, which is bounded by 9 ranges of mountains, could not be able to become a classical dance form in a very ancient, in a very first portion when the Indian society used to recognize the classical art forms like Manipuri, Kathak, Kathakali, and Bharatanatyam. In these 4 dance classical art forms, within that Manipuri dance form was included. To my idea, it could be a contribution, a great contribution and great help for the Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore to be a part of Manipuri dance being a classical dance form. So this is the thing that I'm very much thankful to the Guruji. And these are some of the lectures that I would like to present in front of you. And a little bit of demonstration I would like to show that I had done. Is it all right, Dr. Shambhu? Am I audible and visible, right?
Yes, please continue.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I have to remember the song. I would like to show some of the basic Manipuri dance step, which is very much used in the first Santiniketan form of dance, that is that I told you, Ore Grihobasi, where Buddhimanta Singh used to start the dance form as a procession of exercises as well as a dance. This is still practiced as a ritual procession in the early morning of Dol Yatra in Santiniketan. So din ginta din gin tin ta ta din ginta din gin tin ta ta din ta tin ta 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 tin ta 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 kita kitam kit din ginta din gin tin ta ta din ginta din gin tin ta ta din ta tin ta 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 tin ta 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 kitam kit. From this movement, it is very much adapted to the Ore Grihobasi, but here the classical movement can be a little bit exaggerated according to the member who were dancing, but the movement is the same. Ore Grihobasi, koldar kola glozi dol, tole tole bina tole laglo dol. Dark hole, this is a movement that the first stepping used to do. And for the boys, in the exercise form, they used to do like this. Something like that. And then again, Rangahati, Rasi Rasi. This movement is also, we used to do it in. So this movement, Rangahati, Hasi, something movement like this. And this is the basic movement of the Manipuri Chali too. Something like that. And then again, it comes the same thing like this and this movement. So in that procession of the ritualistic procession of the Dol Yatra, all the movements were symbolically used as the Manipuri basic movements of Chali. So this is the thing that is still practiced as a ritualistic process of Santiniketan since the time immemorial of the Guruji's time. And yeah, very true that as I was a student of Santiniketan and I did presented lots of dance dramas presentation. I did in Chitrangada, I did Arjun too, and then in Shyama, I did Uttiyo. In Chandalika, I did Ananda, and in Mayarkela, I did Ashok. And many more, because in every, while I was in Santiniketan, in every form of dance drama, I used to present it there as one of the character there. So I used to see Rabindranath style in Santiniketan is very much, try to keep the authenticity, try to keep the originality that is still that was presented, that was originated since the time of Gurudev. They are trying to keep the originality even in the costumes. They don't even try to change the of the costumes and then the makeup, the headgears and everything. But I used to observe outside Santiniketan, most of the dance practitioners used to experiment various forms of dances in their own way, something like as Madam Arpita was showing, that only the Orishi dance forms were trying to choreograph in a form of Rabindranath dance drama Chitrangada. I don't know whether it may be suitable, or it may be like, very much come to the point that Rabindranath Gurudev wants to see his vision from there, because there might be some limitation, because even in Manipur, if we want to try to create the whole dance drama of Gurudev, to create it in Manipur, there is always a limitations there. So for that reason, he used to infuse different dance forms like Kathakali, for creating a vigorous character like that. So whether it might be true or not, because he's very universalist and then the internationalist, because his mind is so much open. But even though the experimentation, or maybe the presentation or the choreography by just sticking on a specific dance form could be reliable, or could be a truthful for being a Rabindranath dance drama, is a question to me. And then most of the teachers out there in Santiniketan, they are trying to put Rabindranath dance form into a classicalism, into the level of classical. So if they are trying to put the classicals there, if the costumes are fixed, or if the movements are fixed, then it could be possible. But as if there is lots of freedoms going around in various portions of the India or the world, then whether it can be possible to bring out to the classicalism is one of my questions too. And very much interesting, but one of the movement that I would like to demonstrate, that even Madam Arpita was also used to say, the infusion of different dance forms in the Rabindranath. So from Uttiyo, my Guruji, the same thing that my Guruji, Guru Jiten Singh used to mention, that this is a kind of dance form that breaks, that used to create it in a single verse, that the half portion of the body is dancing the Bharatanatyam, the half portion is dancing like the Manipuri dance. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This can be as a Manipuri dance. But in the foot, I don't know whether you can see my foot or not. Yeah. But in the foot, so here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's like the Bharatanatyam. So here, Maya bono biharini horini mohana charini keno tare dhori bare kori pon okaro Maya bono biharini. So this was the movement that my Guruji was used to telling, that you try to use the upper portion, or maybe the foot should be in a Manipuri, and then the upper hand, or then the bodily gestures should be the another dance forms. This also, this is a kind of ideas that that my Guruji was used to make me learn. So, and a very great things that not only the Manipuri dancers, the perfections of being an artist to being great dancers could be as an example to learn Rabindranath is also one of the things that while we were practicing in the Rabindranath dance style, because we have the possibility to experience and to learn different dance forms of India and different dance forms of the other world. So this give the resources to the person to become a perfect artist. So these are the things that I would like to say. And then at last, I would like to conclude my lecture demonstration with a small means a prayer to the Lord Vishnu through the dance. Okay.
Vande Vishnu Bhavabhayahara Sarvalokaikanath Sarvalokaikanath Sarvalokaikanath.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. It was some of my lecture as well as demonstration, and I think hope you enjoy my speech and some of the demonstrations out there. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Monju Elangbang, for your glorious performance in today's webinar. We have shared your You have shared your expertise and exposures, which will be remembered forever by the participants across the globe. Please stay with us. This is the high time for question and answer session. I would like to share you that we have received a lot of questions from the participants in today's webinar, and we will get the answer from the distinguished resource persons. But due to lack of time, we are not able to accept all the questions. So here are a few questions to discuss. One question, which form of classical dance did Rabindranath Tagore popularize throughout the country? May I request Dr. Monju Elangbam to throw the light on this matter?
Oh, yes. With classical dance forms, so of course, everybody used to know that he popularized Manipuri classical dance form, and you can observe that only the Manipuri dance classical as well as the Kathakali dance form are there in Santiniketan in the dance syllabus. So not any form of Indian classical dance or other international dance forms were included in the course of Santiniketan. So of course, Manipuri dance as well as a part of Kathakali. So these two forms of classical dance is popularized by our Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you for your elaborative discussion. And another question asked by Anandonando Bera, that is there any influence of Bengali culture on Manipuri culture?
The influence of Bengali culture in Manipur.
Yes.
Culture. Of course, there is an actions because there is always give and take. There is an influence of Manipur, Bengali culture to Manipur as well as the Manipuri culture to the Bengal. So it's a form of flow, you know. The influence of Bengali culture is like the jatra or maybe the kirtans of Bengal or the jatras of Bengal, but it is transformed into a Manipuri form of culture, which is called as Sankirtana, which is very much different from the from other part of the world. And then the Ras Leela, which is the influence of the Vaishnavism, especially the Gauriya Vaishnavism of Bengal. But still, that comes into after coming to the Manipur. We used to call we are called as Meitei Hindu, which is a different philosophical idea of the Hindu mainland India. So we accept it as the Meitei Hindu in a different form by the amalgamation of the existing Manipuri culture, and then even in our house we used to observe two different ways: the indigenous religious practice as well as the Hindu religious practice. But this Hindu religious practice come by the addition of the Manipuri existing culture and religion. So of course, why not? There's always an actions, not only the Bengal, we have an actions with the Assam, as well as we have the actions with the Tripura, as well as we have the actions with the far eastern countries like the Myanmar and China too.
Thank you for your views. Another question, Lai Kumam Ajit Kumar has sent a question that what are the relationship between Manipuri Raslila and Rabindranath's classical dance?
Okay. Actually, until now, Manipuri Raslila is regarded as the classical dance form of India, which is a very distinctive characters from the other classical dance form. But until now, there is no classical dance form in Santiniketan. Yet, it is a kind of creative presentation, creation of the dance Rabindranitya by the imagination of the Gurudev, especially focus on his musical lyrics as well as the theme of his dance drama. So the relationship is that as he loves Manipuri dance very much because of the Manipuri dance nature, and then the aesthetics of the Manipuri dance. So he used to take most of the elements of Manipuri dance to create the Rabindranatic dance style. As even the Madam Arpita used to say that whatever we used to see that there is like 50 to 70% or 90% Manipuri dance, but still we couldn't observe that this is a typical Manipuri style. This is the typical method of being created in the Rabindranatic form. But there is a basic foundation that should become from Manipuri dance especially, and then Kathakali dance, or maybe the other Indian dance forms. So the basic will be there, the Manipuri basics are there, but it improvised in some exaggerated way to create the theme of the Rabindranath Tagore. But of course, Manipuri dance is very much related with the Rabindranath dance styles.
Thank you so much. Dr. Orpita Sen, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Another question. Arijit Mukherjee has inputted a question in the chat box. নমস্কার মাননীয়া অর্পিতা ম্যাডামের কাছে প্রশ্ন, বিভিন্ন ডান্স ফর্মের মিশ্রণ গুরুদেবের তার বিভিন্ন নৃত্যনাট্যের মধ্যে এনেছিলেন, তবুও রবীন্দ্র নৃত্যের স্বতন্ত্র বৈশিষ্ট্যগুলি কোথায়? যদি আপনি একটু এই বিষয়টা।
Yes, that means he wanted to know about the particular the distinction of Rabindra Nritya, though we have seen the traditional dances. Now, one very simple song what we have learned in our childhood also, শীতের হাওয়ায় লাগলো না চুন আমলকি রে জালে জালে. Though it is not winter, but still I'm giving just an example. There we have seen in the Shanchari portion, শূন্য করে ভরে দেওয়া যাওয়ার আশা তারি লাগি রইন বসে সকল বেলা তারি লাগি. So you see the song, শীতের হাওয়ার লাগলো না চুন আমলকি রে জালে জালে. It's very much descriptive. So we can show that শীতের হাওয়ার লাগলো না চুন আমলকি রে জালে জালে, or আমলকি রে জালে জালে, like this. Whatever it may be, the Rabindranath is giving you to experiment with his lyrics. If you think that আমলকি রে ডালে ডালে, or আমলকি রে ডালে ডালে, or আমলকি রে ডালে, there are hundreds of things you can choreograph in that. But শূন্য করে ভরে দেওয়া যাহার খেলা তারি লাগি রইন বসে. Though we are heard from our very childhood that it is a song of children, but I don't think that these two lines means শূন্য করে ভরে দেওয়া. Who is emptying us? I mean, who is doing the emptiness, and again he is filling us. So one-sided emptiness and one-sided filling. So it's a cycle. So in the winter, you see in the nature the song also, the lyrics also is giving like that. Shunno pore pore deva jahar khela tari lagi. That means in the Vasanta, in the spring, nature will give its splendor, and we are waiting for that. So what will we show? Shunno pore pore deva jahar khela tari lagi roinu boshe. Because it is told that roinu boshe. We will do that, or we will do some other choreography that is totally depends on the artist. What he or she feels about the lyrics, about the content, about the philosophy. What we have discussed, Dr. Manju has also told that the Rabindranath is not a pure classical dance. It is an improvisation of the dances. The aesthetic sense of Gurudev, whatever the measurement, the aesthetic sense, all these are mixed up in Rabindranath. That is the thing.
Thank you so much, our distinguished resource persons, for enrich us with their views. With this submission, the question and answer sessions is ended. Ma'am Ohana Chakraborty, are you there? Can you hear me, please?
Hello.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here, very much here.
Ma'am,
Can you hear me?
question and answer session. Yes, you are very much audible. Question and answer session has ended. Now.
Yes, I saw. Yeah. Like other members who's watching this program, I'm also mesmerized. You know, I mean, there was so much spontaneity in our speakers. You know, whether it is Dr. Manju or Dr. Urpita Sen, they were vibrant, and they spoke spontaneously. And what I could feel, though they are experienced dancers, but today, being in the webinar, I found they did not speak from their mouth. I don't know how many of you will agree with me, but they spoke from their heart. You know, their expansion and their exposition was more very original. Nothing was what we see in other webinars. You know, people read the book and they read the reference and all these things, which is also natural, and of course we have to. But today's webinar, if I'm not wrong, if you kindly allow me to say, Dr. Manju and Dr. Urpita Sen, you were vibrant, you were natural, you know. I mean, and another thing was you took us to the stage of nostalgia. You know, in my school days, I had performed in Rabindra Sadan. That time, you know, we didn't have many halls and we Monday, and we had Rabindra Sadan. Now, we couldn't fit the audience in Girish Ghosh, that auditorium, that thing. That was, we couldn't do it. But these two, and I clearly remember how much we enjoyed. And after that, when I was in St. Xavier's, I had taken part in this 6 Ritu, you know, what Ritu Rongo, and so today I'm very nostalgic when y'all are performing. I was in the music section, and yes, we used to sing, and you have to be so prompt, you know, the moment Vajrashen comes or the Shama, you have to be prompt, and you have to that switch on, switch off. You know, sometimes you have to mellow yourself in your music, and sometimes you have to give the aggression and that emotion. You know, I'm really reminded of those days, and I think our chosen topic, our viewers. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it, and it was so full of life and so much of information and informative that my obedience to the speakers. Yes, Shambhu, up to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you all for your presence till now. Nevertheless, we have to conclude the session. We we are not hesitant to admit that it is almost impossible to describe a great philosopher like Rabindranath Tagore in just 2 days webinar. Determination of this webinar was to pay homage to our Gurudev. But I am overwhelmed by the way in which the various argumentations of Rabindranath have been enlightened in this short period of time. The chief guest of the webinar, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Soma Bandyopadhyay, Her Excellency, set the tone for today's webinar in her inaugural speech. Her captivating intelligence taught us to think in a new way about Rabindranath Tagore, to identify him as everyone's own. Her multidimensional speech has enriched us in many ways. Our distinguished resource persons have accurately manifested how Rabindranath Tagore's message has been expressed in his songs, poems, dances, and other creations. I don't think there is anything special left to say here, but I have to speak something very briefly. Rabindranath Tagore was a universal philosopher, a great thinker, a social reformer, educationist, and also a priest of Indian culture and tradition. He tried to spread the Indian philosophical as well as cultural thoughts and ideas throughout the world. And incredible thing is that he composed the national anthems for 3 countries. Rabindranath had rare and a great personality, exhibited multidimensional ideas, and which has relevance in this world. I can conclude from both yesterday's and today's webinar that Rabindranath Tagore was a complete man of versatile talents. Ideas of Rabindranath Tagore are very much relevant in the present era. This statement has come up again and again in the discussion of our eminent speakers. I'd like to say that thousands of people still get him all the time to earn their living and or as a companion of happiness and sorrow. The thoughtful opinions of the eminent speakers of this webinar and the presentations of various topics about Rabindranath Tagore have enriched us extremely. We have already got feedback from many fellows that this program is a matter of excellence. I am concluding my humble submission by appreciating and acknowledging everyone. May I request now Dr. Tilokraj Singh, IQAC coordinator of Ideal College of Girls, Manipur. Dr. Tilokraj, please take over the session.
I'm just interrupting Mr. Tilokraj. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Dr. Tilokraj, IQAC coordinator of Ideal Girls College, are you there? Oh, yeah. Ma'am, please. Principal, ma'am, please.
Ma'am, I can hear.
Principal, ma'am, please unmute your system and speak.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. It would be incomplete on my part if I didn't share this small incident. When I talked to Mr. Hare Krishna yesterday, he said, "Madam, you chose Sunday. Sunday is a holiday." I said, "Sir, nowadays due to lockdown, we do not know which is a Sunday and which is a holiday. It is all confused." Anyway, sir, my apology to take your time, but. Before I could talk all these things, he first thing, balloon, namaskar, balloon. So first I was taken aback. You know, I was thinking, I'm sorry, I thought it was a wrong number, a wrong dial. I said, I'm sorry, I wanted to talk to Mr. Hare Krishna. আপনি বলুন না, আপনি বলুন, আমি শুনতে পাচ্ছি. Oh my God! I said, sir, you speak English fluently. He said, well. My education was there also in Purulam Mission, and thereby I visited Vishwabhati, but it's Bengali. Sorry, just now asked what about the agents, Manipur and Bengal. Just now, this is the fittest reply I can give. When you speak the language,
Okay.
I cannot speak. Honorable Mr. Tilak Raj, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable dignitaries, distinguished resource persons, respected principals, and to all the participants, on behalf of IQAC Idol Girls College, Manipur, and organizing committee, I felt immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to our chief guest, Professor Dr. Shoma Bandyopadhyay, Honorable DC of the West Bengal University of Teachers Training Education, Planning and Administration, who spare some time out from our busy schedule for gracing this webinar. I further extend my hearty thanks to our respected guest of honor, Sri M. Hare Krishna, IAS, Honorable Commissioner, Higher and Technical Education, Government of Manipur, for his thought-provoking speech in Rabindranath Tagore contribution in Indian independence struggle. I take this opportunity to express my deep regards and gratitude to our eminent resource person, Dr. Manju Elangbam and Dr. Arpita Singh. And I also special thanks to Dr. Shambhunath Halder, Organizing Secretary, IQAC Coordinator, SS College of Education, and also to our principal, Dr. T.H. Binari Devi, Idol Girls College, Manipur, and Principal Dr. Ahana Chakrabarti of SS College of Education, West Bengal, for encouraging us to organize such a webinar during this uncertain pandemic. I also express my deep sense of appreciation and heartfelt thanks to all the participants who attended this webinar with great enthusiasm. Last but not the least, my sincere gratitude goes to the organizing committee for making this webinar a grand success. Once again, I thank you all for being with us. Now, I humbly request to all the participants who attended this program to stand together in front of your laptops or phones to sing our national anthem. So I hand over my mic to the technical staff for the national anthem. Over to technical staff for the national anthem. Thank you all once again.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all for your contribution. I have provided the feedback form in the chat box. Thank you. Goodbye.